to ted a little hay today. Unfortunately, this got rained on twice. Second time I was expecting, first time I was not. Stuff wasn't on the ground for 3 freaking hours Sunday, and a pop-up line of thunderstorms came out of nowhere and dumped 2 tenths on it, which, if it gets rained on right after it was cut and it's still green, it doesn't really affect it at all. If it gets rained on like 3 days later when it's all wilted and ready to bale, then it kind of turns into junk. When it got rained on Sunday right after I cut it, and then yesterday, I thought we were clear. I was watching the weather all day. They kept knocking the chances down, knocking the chances down, knocking the chances down. I left work at 4 o'clock, got like right to the state line, and whammo, shower came out of nowhere. It wasn't quite 2 tenths. I call it like a tenth and an eighth of a tenth. 0.18. Yeah, there we go. 0.18. Let's call it that. Not quite 2 tenths. But it is surprisingly dry. I didn't figure, well, I shouldn't say that. It's been warm, it's been windy. Other than, I'm guessing that this is Canada wildfire haze. Other than that, it's been sunny. So it's dried out actually surprisingly well. I almost thought about not tedding it, but you walk through here in some of the deeper spots and there's slugs. So rather be safe than sorry. But as dry as it is, I think tomorrow afternoon it will rake and bale in the same afternoon if I ted it out right now, which is what I'm hoping for. Because Thursday we have chances of scattered thunderstorms, whatever that means anymore. So if I can get it baled tomorrow and not have to worry about it Thursday, even better, because just my luck Thursday, that chances of scattered thunderstorms is going to turn into 2 tenths after it's all nice and raked and ready to bale. So we're just going to go ahead and ted it. Low engine RPM, moderate ground speed. We're not going to beat the crap out of it because there's alfalfa and clover in here. I don't want to knock the leaves off if I can avoid it. But I do just want to get it fluffed and get those wet spots taken care of so that tomorrow we can just bale it and not have to worry about it. So well, this is the neighbor's tedder, the one across the street from mom and dad. I'm farming his ground now. I remember this thing being, he bought it brand new. He said he couldn't remember if it was 98 or 99 when he bought this. But I remember it being brand new, and I pulled this thing with his ZB. He's got a ZB wide front moline. I pulled it with that. He's got a Farmall 300 narrow front. I pulled it with that. Don't think we ever ran it with his H. But I pulled it with that ZB, I pulled it with his 300, I pulled it with my 66. Tim's one of those guys, he always had a knack for getting really cool shit really cheap. Like, one of these days when he has his auction, I'm gonna spend a lot of money. I can just tell you that right now. Like, I need to start a Tim's auction fund. I need to start it right now so I got money to spend when he finally has his auction. But he had, and I was at the auction when he bought it, he had a 706, a Farmall 706 gas narrow front that came off of a muck farm. It had factory 20.8 34s on the back and 750 15s on the front. I mean, she was stout, and them tall rear tire thing would giddy up and go down the road. He still got it. Unfortunately, it's back in the dead row now. It's sitting outside in the weeds, but I don't know what happened to it. But that tractor was so freaking cool with them big tires on it. But I pulled it with that 706. I think that was pretty much the main tractors that pulled it. So yeah, I've basically been using this thing since it was brand new. I'd like to talk him out of it, because they got, back when they were still farming a lot of hay, at one point he was almost at 150 acres, they bought a second 4-basket tedder, and that one's got hydraulic wings on it. That's their good one now, but this one, he doesn't even remember the last time they used it. It was sitting back in the weeds. I didn't want to borrow the nice one, because just my luck, something on it would break while I was using it, because that's just the way things go for me. But I went and picked it up last night. The PTO shaft they bent it while they were moving it once. So I had to get the PTO shaft freed up, get it straightened out. There was a tine missing. I had to replace that. I greased it, changed the oil in the gearbox, aired the tires up. So she's good to go. So But we'll get her unfolded here, and I'd really like to buy this Tedar because the way this one's set up, unlike a lot of the newer ones that have a universal joint between the main frame and the wing so you can't run them standing up, this one's got the 3-jaw couplers. And maybe some of the Italian ones are still like that to this day, but this one's got the 3-jaw coupler, so if you wanted to run it as a 2-basket, you can fold the wings up and just run the main frame. So for some of my tighter spots, I could fold it up, Ted that out, then unfold, have a 4-basket. So, but in time. He's got the other basket shield that goes up here and the one for this wing, but they broke off and you just never got them welded back on. We're not scraping, or low enough we're getting all the hay, but not low enough we're scraping the ground. See what that does. Normally you want to ted in the morning when the hay's tough so you don't got to worry about beating the leaves off, but I got a yob, so I think this is gonna have any issue making tomorrow. I think we're golden. It definitely, I mean, like you go through right here, like that right there, that needed kicked out from underneath so it'd wilt down. And there's, you get down to the bottom, there's bigger slugs, but it definitely didn't hurt to ted it. Didn't knock any leaves off the alfalfa, it doesn't appear, so. Which is the main thing. A lot of leaves on that guy. There's leaves. Yeah. The alfalfa made it through okay, which is my main concern. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'll run the tedder back, get it unhooked. I think I'm gonna go ahead and run the Super 55 and the rake and the 18 and the baler over here tonight. That way it's all staged up, ready to go. It'll probably take me an hour, hour and a half to rake it. About the same to bale it, so I think I got help lined up to get it off the field. If I can get it all, the trailer's open. I took the back rack, or the rack completely off of Dad's grain truck, so it's just a flat rack right now. So that'll hold a bunch. And then I just took the tailgate out of my grain truck, because taking one set of racks off is that's enough of a chore. So I can get it all off the field and under a roof tomorrow, and then Thursday, if it's not raining, get it in the loft. I doubt I'll have enough daylight, even with help, to get it all done. If all I had to do is bale it, I'd probably have enough of having to rake it and get it baled. Might be a little interesting. So if I can get it all on wheels tomorrow and under a roof, I'll consider that a win. So, but I'm gonna get things around to get equipment moved, so we will catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully baling some hay. Even after getting rain down, I don't think it's gonna turn out that bad. I don't even think it honestly bleached it, because after I crimped it, or running it through the crimper, it almost turned it kind of a whitish green anyhow, running it through the crimper. So it honestly didn't even really change color after getting rained on, which, like I say, if it's gonna get rained on, it's best to do it right after it's mowed while it's still green, because it's already wet. So but fingers crossed. Okay, we are all raked. I got here this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon, and just went right to it because I got help coming. I want to get worked ahead of them. So there's a few down there in low spots. You're picking up a few little wet chunks off the ground, but nothing soaking wet, just like a little bit green, hasn't wilted all the way yet, and it's not thick or big globs, it's just like little wisps of stuff off the bottom. So yeah, hopefully the baler gods are smiling down and the 060T does their job and we can just punch them right out. That's the idea. it's all baled. Luckily, sorry for the lack of video. I was trying to get this done before the dew hit, and I think I just beat it. But 238 on the counter, probably minus about 10. I'll get a final count tomorrow when we put it in the loft. But I got guys stacking hay, and I need to go help them. So we'll talk at you later. Okay, since we left you yesterday, everything's over here in the barn. Man, I had the door shut all night, and then today I opened them up just to get some air moving on this hay, because it was still a little tough. So I figured I'd let it, and having that door open did make a big difference. But this morning when the dew was still on, even with the doors shut, I got about halfway across the yard to get the doors open, and you could smell that sweet hay smell. I was like, oh, that's good stuff. And I'm glad I took the side racks off Dad's truck, because that's a good way to haul hay. That worked out pretty good. And then the trailer, we were stacking that, and Ryan, my boss from work, he offered to come help, so he was stacking that, and I told him to wait. He could wait till Dad got there to start helping, and he's like, nah, I can do it. So he took off, and I figured he knew how to stack. I guess sometimes I take that for granted living around here. It seems like everybody I knew growing up, everybody made hay, so we all knew how to stack wagons. So I just told him, this is how I stack this, and sent him off. And I guess I didn't really pay much attention because I was busy watching the baler, but he didn't stack out all that great, and it fell over 3 times. We had to restack it, and eventually, luckily, one of my other friends, Todd, I think Todd's my mom's age, or Todd's in between Dad and Mom. Anyway, he's right around Dad's age, but he would just happen to be driving by, and he must have been bored, so he stopped, and luckily he did, because it took 4 of us to get that load situated enough to get it here. And then he had a dump trailer with him from work, and we ended up throwing, I think, 6 or 8 bales in his dump trailer to haul the rest of the way here too. So we gave Ryan a little bit of shit, and it all worked out. We got it all off the field. Nobody got hurt. Only a couple bales got broken. I had the baler there to rebale them. So, but we got to get the elevator set up, get this stuff unloaded, because I need the trailer Saturday, hopefully. And we need to get stuff back in the barn, because we still have chances of rain. I think they're talking we got some chances of scattered showers tonight, tomorrow night. Saturday they keep putting it in and taking it out, so honestly thought about trying to scrounge up some more hay ground, but with the equipment that I have available and with the time constraints that I'm working with, I think the 6 or 7 acres, whatever I'm making right now, I think that's probably enough. If I had a round baler, it'd be a different story, but doing everything in squares and always struggling to find help. So anyhow, let's get this elevator set up. We'll get that unloaded and get a final count and get an ad posted, start moving it. We gotta have Shelly do some looking, see what people have been charging, and go from there. we've fast forwarded from where we left you by a couple hours. Everything's in the loft. All the tractors and the equipment are home, or well, the 1800 still got to go back to Mom and Dad. I really don't want that thing staying over here as dirty as stuff gets over in my barn with that concrete or with that dirt floor, which I do believe I have a hookup for free, very, very, very cheap, if not flat out free asphalt millings delivered. It's just going to be a matter of getting everything lined up and having time to do it, because with asphalt millings, it's kind of a one shot and done. If you leave them in a pile and don't sit too long, you have a big hunk of asphalt again, and it just so. But maybe at some point we'll get us some asphalt millings put in that floor, and it won't be dusty dirty anymore. Then we'll just have the bird shitting all over everything. But anyhow, so all the hay's up there. I didn't actually get a final count. I honestly didn't even try. But I'd guess somewhere in that 230 mark. I was kind of disappointed for 3 acres, but that field needs some help. It's been neglected. It's far from horse hay. Even if it was a good cutting, I wouldn't consider it good horse hay. It was planted as cow hay. It was treated as cow hay. It's cow hay. Not saying you couldn't feed it to a horse, but it's cow hay. But I got to do some looking, see how to price it out, and go from there. So hopefully we start moving some and put a hole in it. Now we just got the other half of first cutting to make, which it doesn't look like at least this week's going to be very conducive to it, but that's okay because we got to jump on side dressing anyhow. So we can start working on that and hopefully get the rest of first cutting made in there somewhere at some point. So, but I think Shelly's working on dinner and I'm really, really hungry. So, and really, really thirsty. I think I might have been suffering from a little bit of heat exhaustion because I'll start to get dizzy there for a minute. But you ain't making hay if you ain't passing out, so, or something like that. So I guess with that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Sorry it was kind of rushed, but my work schedule is not very conducive, at least this time of year, to making hay. So it honestly was easier doing planting and working ground than it was making hay. So anyhow, yep, we'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm gonna go get some food and sit on the couch and do nothing.